This is going to be a fun one to do. Of my treasure books, this one might be the most zany of the treasure books, and I mean that in the best possible way. Normally when I put one of these little markers on here, it has to do with something that's going on inside a book. But on this particular book, which is titled The Art of Living According to Joe Beef, a cookbook of sorts, I just love the fact that right away you know you've got something different going on here. These people that wrote this book, Frederic Morin, David McMillan, and Meredith Erickson, forward by David Chang. You might have heard of that guy or had some noodles of his before. Well, before too long. So I got this book in 2011, and maybe it had to do with them coming to the restaurant and me loving talking to these guys. I don't know if Meredith was there, but I certainly do remember Frederick and David. This is a first edition of this book, by the way. This book is just outrageously fun. It's such a personal cookbook. And as I say, it came out in 2011, so you got a good shot at probably buying it for a price that is unfairly inexpensive because it's just so damn good. They are fearless. They are brave, and it comes out in their food, and it comes out in their book, and it comes out in the singularity of the style of this book. If I didn't live so far away and it wasn't so darn cold there, I would definitely love to be there every month for sure. David is pictured here. Let me show you the cover of this book. This is a chalkboard where they've just got 1,000 different things. And from my understanding, this restaurant is pretty small. I believe they have a few restaurants now. A cookbook of sorts. It is that. If you're the kind of person that enjoys the humor of winemaker Randall Graham comes to mind because one of the most erudite, a linguist for sure, an inventive person. If you enjoy that kind of person's mind, you would enjoy this book very much. Maybe Robin Williams kind of thing, maybe who knows who. I mean, it's Tom Waits kind of thing. It's a range. Let's see, what do we find here? There's all kinds of photographs in this book. I know what I wanted to do. I wanted you to read. I want you to hear what Tony Bourdain had to say about this book. He put it this way: the first Joe Beef cookbook changed forever what a cookbook could be. Anything that came after it had to take it into account. Now, with this latest and even more magnificent beast, the rogue princes of Canadian cuisine and hospitality show us the way out of the numbing post-apocalyptic restaurant hell of pretentiousness and mediocrity that threatens to engulf us all. It makes us believe that the future is shiny, bright, beautiful, delicious, and probably Quebecois. This book will change your life. Never half measures for Tony. Never. That's why we love him so much. I know I probably put 1,000 page markers in this book because as I went through it, I wanted to eat all of it. Marrow bones cultivar. And there's a beautiful picture of it. Oh my God. Spaghetti homard, which is lobster. It shows, of course, the dominance of their French roots. Artichoke. Schnitzel of pork. Not long ago, restaurants were just fun places to eat out, not the foodist temples of today. Remember, this is 2011, so probably wrote this in 2009-10, and they were often an ode to the owner's homeland, hobby, or previous livelihood, a ski or fishing village. fishing lodge, a Bahamian beach hut, a Chinese pagoda. At the top of our list is the Stube, the Austrian ski shack with crossed skis hung over the mantel, beer steins, pretzel buns as bread, schnapps, and cabinet. The menus here would invariably feature sides of mustard in glass jars, parsley potatoes, krauts, and wursts of all kind, and ultimately the schnitzel, crisp and hot, overlapping the plate like Dame de Louise on a bar stool. I don't think anyone has written a book funnier than this, a cookbook funnier than this one. I can see why they had David Chang write it, because David's the kind of person that has that crazy sense of humor too. It's packed with history. It's packed with the nuances of culture. Oh, I love this one. Look at this. A plea for thin chops. As soon as I read this, I went, yeah, really, that is so true and so overlooked when it comes to the way most people would think of the ideal pork chop. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love a nice, juicy pork chop just like everybody else. But the fact of the matter is, when you've got the thin ones like this, the ratio probable between the fat and the meat is going to be much more in favor towards an equal measure of fat to meat. And who does not love pork fat? Well, I know some people don't, but if you love it, you love it. So you want to get somewhere where you can get this book. And if you do, or when you do, I suggest you take it to a great bar, hopefully one that serves good food too, and just get out your stickies, get these guys out, and your pen or whatever. It's your book, so by all means, like you'll see in my books all the time, you write in them. These are not sacred texts. I have no idea. I don't know where an idea like this comes from. The name of this one is Hot Oysters on the Radio. And this is the presentation. I just have to think that this came out of maybe some kind of Hunter S. Thompson moment of thinking. Why not? Let's get really crazed and have a radio be the plate. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I could read almost anyone. Chicken skin jus. Yes, what in the heck? Why haven't I had more on that? A word on booze. These guys know their wine. I know that there's been a little change up in the lifestyle, maybe for both, but definitely for David. But they know their wine, and it's written about here very, very well. Desserts are not left off. I mean, if you fancy eclairs, look at these. You don't want to just pick that up and wolf it down. And it looks like a brilliant size. Like you could easily polish off 3 or 4 of those babies. And why not? Because you know what? You're going to go out skiing or sledding not long after. Joe Beef, a cookbook of sorts. And some friends and some really great chefs, including Tony, wrote some stellar words for them. It's always better when you have the opportunity to feed someone that has fed you. And in this case, they have fed me metaphysically and culinarily, but in the case where I got to feed them when they came into Norman's, and they were just a ball. So go get yourself a copy of Joe Beef, and it will become a treasure book for you as well, I have a feeling. Talk to you soon, everybody.